Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of KP Fire, where we talk about the latest and greatest subjects dealing with life, travel, and ministry, and we do it all in the name of the Lord. I'm your co-host, Malachi Wiley, here with my fellow co-host, Matthew Eckart. How you doing today?
I've almost never been better. I'm doing great. How about you, Malachi?
I'm doing good, doing good. I'm excited. We got something
Yes.
special today, don't we?
Yeah, so this is cool. We've decided to do a quarterly podcast so we can go ahead and keep everybody updated on what's been happening in our travels. And so I'm excited to share, what all has been happening January through March. We've seen God do a lot of stuff. Actually, in the first quarter, we've traveled 3,000 miles, been to 11 different churches, 6 different states. We've seen 40, I wrote them down here so I won't exaggerate or get it wrong, 42 salvations, multiple water baptisms, lots of healings. The thing I'm the most excited about is, over 40 salvations in the first quarter.
That's awesome.
So, that's exciting stuff. And it's kind of like as we start off, we don't really ever have a downtime, but we have our winter, which we call our downtime because we're not doing tents.
Yeah.
And so as that wraps up and we take off in January, we started off at Open Door Fellowship in Converse, Indiana. And we're just going to kind of share just a little bit about each one of the 11 churches. And some things we may say more about others, but every one of them has made an impact, and we've had a great time in every one of these ministries.
Oh, yeah, all year. All year we have just
Yes.
seen an increase. And
Yeah.
we'll get more into that, but that's just all year. It's just been amazing.
It has been. And, I was just talking with Nadine before we started this podcast today, and I asked her, I said, what do you think is like some memorable moments of the, last 11 churches, the first quarter? And she said, even from the very beginning, she noticed that there was just an increase in 2 things, which I'm sure we'll get into more of, is, God's presence where people were lingering and fiery passion. We really seen that. And so, we started in January at Open Door Fellowship, and that's kind of become a really cool, good tradition where we've started there the first Sunday of the year. And I got saved when I was 8.5 years old in that church, and we've been going back there and preached multiple times. So we had a great time kicking off there. My cousin and her husband, Doug and Kim, they pastor that church now and have for a little while. And then we went from there and we started our trek south. And we went to really good friends of ours in ministry, great people at Sunshine Assembly of God.
Yeah.
And just had a great time there with Pastor Jeremy and Carla and their congregation.
Yeah.
And actually we did a in-house, like a Sunday through Wednesday revival.
Yeah.
And, Nadine was telling me, she said she noticed there, because it was our first revival of the year, that people were lingering in God's presence, and there was a fiery passion at the very first one.
Yeah.
And I'll have to also, Ethan reminded us of this one, which Ethan is behind the camera right now and taking care of all the sound. And so he was reminding us we had some amazing barbecue too.
Oh, yeah.
Pastor had us over he has this amazing smoker. It was great.
Yeah. I wish I could have been there.
Oh, that's right. You weren't there for the...
Yeah. I had everyone on the team was going on and on about the great food, the great barbecue, man.
Hey, so wait a minute. Okay, we're talking about the first quarter. There was an announcement made in January for you and your family.
1st. My wife is pregnant with our first baby, our beautiful daughter. I am so excited. It is awesome. She is going on now, and it is just, we got a due date in late August, so praise the Lord.
Isn't that exciting? And so they announced that in January of the first quarter. And then in March, Jessica and Ethan, they announced that they're pregnant for baby number 2.
Yeah.
So you guys are making me one happy guy for sure, because I've got 1 grandbaby hanging around and 2 that I'm going to meet here in, 7-8 months, however that works for the timeline. But anyway, so exciting. But we had a great time there in Sunshine. And then from Sunshine, we went to Verbena, and we've gone there many times holding revival. And we did a Sunday morning and a Sunday night. Same thing. We really noticed an increase of God's presence and just really a fiery passion. And they're real passionate people there in Verbena anyway. And then from Verbena, we went to Way of the Cross at Verbena. And then we went to Reach Church, and we've been going there, this was our second time there. And we go and park our RVs there in Union Springs, Alabama, and had a great service and an outreach with them. We gave away hot dogs. And actually, when we were in Sunshine, I had mentioned we were going to do an outreach in Union Springs. And so I said, hey, if anybody wants to give, whatever you give as a special offering, we'll put into the food. And we were able to get hot dogs, chips, drinks, and they gave us such a good blessing. We were able to do it for there and when we got to Florida for an outreach there. And so thanks. A shout out to Sunshine Assembly of God. That was a blessing.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that was cool. And then we went from when we had the Reach Church in Union Springs, we went to our prayer retreat. And that's in Union Springs also.
Yeah.
And just kind of a shout out to Servant Care Ministries. They actually, it was just basically we just paid the cleaning fee, and we got to park our RVs at the campground there and had a cabin for. Yeah. You want to say anything about the prayer retreat and the time we had there?
Yeah, I even noticed a little bit before the prayer retreat when we were at the Reach Church. It was like, even there, we started to see a bit more of an increase in just the presence of the Lord and the manifestation of the Spirit and just the power of God moving. Like, there are some things that I was shocked by that happened there. Just like going into ministry, kind of still in the early years of the ministry that God has called me to, just seeing God move in some miraculous ways that honestly, some ways I haven't seen him move like that before in me. So it's cool. Like God is just really like from there on, even that early on, we've seen an increase. And then we went on to the prayer retreat. Yeah. And man, there was just something on the prayer retreat where it's just an increase. Every time I prayed, I just felt like the Lord is just giving me a download, just like more expansion, territory, increase, double portion. Like there's just gonna be something unleashed, and we have seen that throughout this quarter.
Yeah, and the prayer retreat, I was just thinking as you were saying that, I was listening too, but I was thinking we were all in this, it's kind of an intimate setting because we're in this cabin and they've got like a gathering room with a stairway with a balcony that has beds up there, and we didn't stay in the cabin, but we all hung out there and had dinner and prayer time and stuff and lessons. But there was a moment in there where we had the kids share, and I just remember kids were on the floor, we were all on the furniture and lawn chairs and couches, and some were on the stairwell to the balcony. And I just remember like we had a real bonding moment there where the kids began to share about how God had moved in their lives. And, some of them shared like their salvation moment. And it was so powerful. I realized there, it was like, that's one of the reasons we needed the prayer retreat is number one, to seek the Lord for the new year, to pray together and learn on prayer, but also as a family, all of us, I guess there's 26 of us right now in this season, to come together and see, what God's doing is just powerful. So, and then from the prayer retreat, so that was January. Yeah. We had been, that would be 5 different churches in January. Yeah. Prayer retreat. Yeah. And then we went on to Florida City. I do want to say this, like from the time we left Indiana and now we're heading in, February to Florida City. No vehicle problems. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
We didn't have one breakdown.
Hallelujah.
No flat tires. Man, that was great. And then we get to Florida City. We set up the tent, and this is we've been there multiple years. I want to say this was probably year 5, I think, that we had. So, 5th year, we had set up the tent in Florida City at Florida First Assembly of God. And love them dearly. They've really had us in. It's been a great time. You want to share a little bit about what happened in the meetings there? Yeah,
we've just seen like a good move of God while we were there. We saw God really move. And there was one thing that, like, if I had to recall like a highlight moment, like if I had to tell you just one thing about those services, I would tell you the story about a girl that was sitting outside the tent. There was this woman that was sitting on the ground way outside the tent over by the gate. And, I saw her out of the corner of my eye, and I turned and I just, felt impressed to just go over there and give her a water, just something small. And I just remembered like, what you do for the least of these, then you do unto me. Right. And so like, I just felt like I had to go give her a water. So I went over there, I gave her a water, and me and the pastor's wife just started talking to her, and we invited her under the tent, and she just began to cry. And just and what I really feel like it was like she began to experience love, real love, because you know God is love. If you know, one that does not love does not know God. Like in order to truly love, you gotta have Christ. And so she began to experience that real, authentic love. She came into the tent during the service. She got saved. She got baptized. You know, coming out of gang life and all this other stuff, like a radical salvation. We gave her Bibles and we gave her like discipleship booklets, and she was just on fire for God. It was amazing. And it was just like, if I had to tell you one thing about that, that's what I would tell you. It's just a major highlight, because that's what it's about. Seeing the lost come to Christ. No one's too far gone. Nobody's too far out there. Jesus is seeking for everyone.
Yeah. And man, that's what it's all about, is seeing the lost come to know Jesus. Seeing the body revived. I mean, we were there Friday through Wednesday, and so every night was just a great time, and we actually saw multiple salvations on Sunday morning. Or I think two came forward on Sunday morning, and so which is, you know, I mean, that's just awesome. But while we were there, also we've got a guy that we've met at the times we've been there, Pastor Jeff and Angie at Florida First. They introduced us to a evangelist by the name of Pino. And Pino is, you know, I don't know what age he is. He's older than me, and he's not retired, but he's not doing as many like tent meetings as he used to do. And so he was like, hey, you guys want to set up my tent while you're there this year? So I've met him, and he's got like a couple trucks, maybe a storage unit on the church property where he has stored some outreach stuff. And every year, Pino will give us bag after bag of toys. Yeah. Right? And I mean, so we've been able to give those away at different places, and especially at Florida City. It's very much an outreach location. And so he said, if you want. And so I said, yeah, let's do that. So we set up his tent for the first time. Our tents, we've got it down to a science. We can set one up in like, you know, 2.5 to 4. Usually 3 hours is our window. We set it up, chairs, stage, lights, everything. But this thing took us literally all day long.
Oh yeah.
It was a thicker canvas made by the same company, but thicker canvas, 77 feet round. And it was like, it goes bigger, but that's the biggest we could put there. Yeah. Huge. I mean, it's so much taller than our other tents. And so
See it for miles.
Yeah, it was great. And so then he was like, he said, it's yours if you'll use it. And we were like, yeah, we will use it. And it'll be solely used for ministry, just for ministry. And so, which is really cool that he gave us that. And so he gave us the poles, the tent. He ended up giving us 50 more black chairs that match the 200 we use. Yeah. And just really blessed us. Gave us another small tent that we can use like for prayer things. And so that was a great blessing in Florida City. Number one is salvation. Souls is always the most important. Yeah. And but you know, the relationships that we build with people in the kingdom is so important. Yeah. And
even the equipping to get more souls.
Yeah.
Because that's what that was. Like Pino blessing us now gives us more of an opportunity to see more souls come into the kingdom, see more people come under the tent, because that's such a bigger tent. You could see it not only for miles because how tall it is, but you could see so many people in there. Yeah. And it's like, just imagine like what God's going to do in the future. It's just unbelievable.
Because when we add the middle section, which we have not done yet, we got to, lift weights a little bit between now and then. But anyway, it's like, well, it was heavy. But
did you ever tell them how long it took us to set up compared to our normal one?
I mean, it took us probably 4 extra hours, wouldn't you say?
I think it took us about 8 hours.
It's 8 hours total. So
yeah.
Wow. So 5 hours probably more than normal.
It was a lot quicker coming down. We figured it out by then.
Yeah. And we know now how to put it up faster.
Yeah.
And safely. Let's add
safely. Let's add safely.
Yeah.
we were concerned about being impaled a couple times, but God watched over us.
I only left the ground once.
Yes, and he did. It picked him up. So when we add the middle section, I think it's 112 by 77. Yeah. And I think he said he had 800 chairs in it. So I looked at Miami Mission Tent, because that's where we get our tents. And that's where that one came from. And online, that tent is it's over 900 seat if you fill it up to their specs. So anyway, that was a blessing. And then, so we always enjoy our time in Florida City. We go to, if you ever go to Florida City and you want a really good place to get fruit, down the road from First Assembly, there is a place called Robert Is Here. And if you drive down
mangoes,
there,
man.
the mangoes are amazing.
Yes.
And if you go with kids, there's like a petting zoo. There's the fruit is, oh man, it's on your way to the Everglades National Park. It's you go there and it's kind of, there's not much in between there and the national park. But anyway, so
not sponsored.
yeah, right. I don't know if we'll get any kickbacks from that, but so from Florida City, we went to a new place that we had never been.
Yeah.
And that was Winter Garden, which was literally like, I don't know, like 10 minutes maybe from Magic Kingdom, And
I don't know. It was really close.
It's really close.
We drove through Epcot
yeah,
to get to this church.
it was crazy.
Talk about blessed.
Yeah, right? And so, and the pastor and his wife and their kids were just so welcoming. We had a tent meeting scheduled, and the city wouldn't allow us to set up a tent. It was too big or what have you. And so we just, with the pastor, we just decided, let's have an in-house revival, right? And so that was great. We went inside for those services, and I had actually met the pastor there, well, not met, but was introduced to him by his mother and father-in-law from a service in Goshen, Indiana.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, you need to, meet our daughter and son-in-law in Florida. So anyway, that was cool. We had a great time there.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say, like, from the moment of the start of those meetings in-house, we never had a lot of visitors come in.
Yeah.
Crowds were never really large. They were celebrating their 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
But my goodness, the presence of God was so thick, so tangible.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit about what we experienced?
Like, you want to talk about, like, a launch point.
Yeah.
Like a slingshot moment. Like, that really was a slingshot moment where it's just like,
For sure.
And it's one thing because you could go to some in-house revivals and, sometimes, or even just services or whatever. And sometimes because of a low crowd, there will be, a lack of courage, a lack of expectancy, a little discouragement. And like, we all face it. We all could be like victim of that. We all could come to that. But man, they were just so on fire.
Yeah.
They were so ready. And there was just so many times like, there's a difference between like, we love the moments where it's like loud and awesome and all this other stuff happening and God just moving and this happening and that happening. But, the moments in the stillness.
Yeah, there was a lot of
just
those moments.
have you like, wow. When even the little newborn baby is silent because the presence of God.
Right.
It was so powerful, man. Like, man, the amount of times I just came undone in the presence, man. I was just weeping on those old carpets, man. Like, I couldn't.
Yes.
Man, it was awesome. It was awesome.
They were so hungry there. It was like in the worship.
Yeah.
It was such a wave of like altar ministry, or like I say altar ministry, but the Lord ministering to people at the altar.
Yeah.
Like there was just so many moments of people just seeking the Lord, spending time in His presence. After every message, such a hunger and a response to the call, at the message, and then more prayer time at the altar, and it was really neat there too because we met in the sanctuary every night for 30 minutes before the meetings, and church family just gathered and sought the Lord, and night after night, I mean, the Lord met with us in such a powerful way there in Winter Garden, and they were like, "Hey, you guys you're gonna have to come back." The pastor said, "I think I'll have people angry at me if you don't."
Yeah.
And so we're so excited to make new friends in Florida, new connections, and to see God move.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I love about what the Lord allows us to do is the body of Christ is so big, and we get to meet these other people that are going after Jesus, and there's so many that love Jesus and are going after Him. And it's really great when you come together with other people that are hungry, and the manifest presence of the Lord just seems to accelerate because there's just a unifying move of hunger and a desire for reviving and just seeking His presence. And so And so when we left Winter Garden, we left there, and I'll look at my notes here. We went from Winter Garden, we went to Extended Hands Assembly of God, and that was in Gulfport, Mississippi. And that's a cool connection because the pastor there, I had met him in Mississippi early on, probably 9 years ago. Also, I'm excited because this month, April 24th, marks Nadine and I's 10th year. We've been on the road for 10 years taking out the gospel, and we've already had our 5th year anniversary for tent meetings the last 5 years. But April, it's really cool to see what God's done in the last 10 years. And so this pastor we had met early on and at a different pastorate, and then he started having us in where he's at Gulfport, where he's been. And this church has like RV hookups for every one of us. I mean, like we had water, sewer cleanouts, and like we're talking legit 50 and 30 amp RV plugs. And they were like, hey guys, anytime you come through this region, it's not far off of I-10. They're like, there's a place for you to come and park and do ministry from here. They've just really taken us in and helped us in that region. Whenever we've done tent meetings, that church has teamed up with other churches twice now, 2 other churches. We've not done a tent at their church, but they team up with us when we're going to the next church. Yeah. And so Extended Hands had a great fiery Sunday morning service there. Yeah. And then we went from there to Mobile, Alabama, where last year we did a tent at the Cross Church with Pastor Jacob there. And so we can only set up a 1-pole round tent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so we had like 100 chairs under that thing, but it was packed out. Oh, yeah. But not just with people, but the presence of God night after night. You want to share like what God did in some of the young people's lives?
Yeah, I was trying to think of just how to describe it, and the only way I could describe it is a tent on fire, man.
It was.
Like, you want to talk about like just an on fire, ready to go, like going after God, no holding back, man. Like, it was really exciting, really good to see. We saw a whole group of young people, a whole youth group came in from like an hour away from there. Their youth leader just looked up revival near me, saw us, and they decided to come. And we had 3 people from that group got saved.
Yeah, they did.
Over the tent revival. So, like, and one of them got baptized, too. Yeah, so it's like God really moved, and we just saw God do a lot of great things. And that's when we really saw an increase in the manifestation of the Spirit of the Lord. Where it's like people are just shaking. People are like falling, and just like the presence of God just coming on people so strong. I remember one night I was just so caught up in the presence of the Lord. Yeah, man, like I just could not leave that mat. Right, like I could not leave the altar. It was just so awesome, and I wasn't the only one. There was so many people
every night.
My favorite part about it was not only was there so many other people going after God and that were tarrying for a long time. But there were so many young people going after God. The church that we were at, the Cross Church, their youth group was just on fire, man. They were going after Jesus, like holding nothing back. And that other youth group that ended up joining us, they were really on fire, and they were really seeking the Lord, and we just saw God move in mighty ways.
It was a powerful time, and definitely look forward to going back to being in Mobile, because they just are. They're very evangelistic. Yeah. And very, I mean, they're just like, I don't know, they're just like revival ready.
Oh, yeah, they are on fire. And I also, this is one thing, there was a young man that was at all of the services, and every time he would have like the Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt and like the Charlie Kirk hats and everything. And I remember one of the nights I preached, I pray over him, and I was just like, I'm jealous of you. And and then he showed up the next day, because I complimented his shirts. I told him how much I loved it. He showed up the next day, gave me a Charlie Kirk Freedom shirt for free. You guarantee I wore that night.
Yes.
I still got it. I wear it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Praise the Lord. That guy, shout out.
Yes, and it's funny because at that place, when we went there the first year, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how we're going to park our RVs here. Yeah. We had even more RVs last year than this year. Yeah. And we're in this small little area, and we pack the RVs in there. And so if you're ever wondering, you're like, well, man, I'd like to, have a tent meeting, but they got all these RVs. Well, one thing is we never charge anywhere we go. It's just all we need is one water spigot. We can run our generators. I think we had three of the campers had electric at that church, but sometimes we don't have any electric. And but we can make these campers fit in the smallest areas. It's crazy. And then God moves. God meets us. And so it's so worth it. So we had a great time there in at the Cross Church. And then we went from there to Saussure, Mississippi. So it was funny. We were at Gulfport. Then we go, we passed through Mobile, go to Gulfport, go back to Mobile. Then we go back to Gulfport area, which is Saussure, Mississippi. And that pastor had been at the last 2 tent meetings we had done at another church that he used to pastor, and now he's pastoring in a different church. And this is so neat because the Extended Hands Assembly of God, and then also the other church, and man, I can't believe their name just slipped my mind. Simply Church was the name of that church. Yeah. They had us in last minute a couple years ago for a tent meeting. So now we do it at a third location in the area, and all 3 of the churches, they are there like supporting this move of God. And I mean, it was right on, I think that's Highway 41. I don't know. But anyway, it was awesome. The crowds came out, and there was just it built night after night. Yeah. But the same thing. We saw people lingering in the presence of God, not wanting to leave, and fiery passion. Yeah. And it just would, it would just, while we were there, it would just build and build and build. And,
we saw a couple of baptisms there too. Yes. And I remember I wasn't going to bring this up, but I just remember, the night I preached, I was doing an altar call, and, I already did a altar call before that, but I just felt like I needed to do another one. And I was just going on, if you need restoration, healing, you need God to do something for you. And then as I was going on with the altar call, I was just like, if you need salvation, and I remember taking a step back and be like, that's not what I was trying to say at all. It kind of just forced itself out. And so I was just
you even had this look when you looked at me like, oops, I didn't mean to mention that.
Okay. And then I just you just kind of roll with it or whatever. And then some people came up, I prayed with them, and then I went to this young man, and I was like, I really feel like I'm supposed to ask him what God can do for him. And so I asked him, I was just like, man, what can God do for you? And he looked at me, he's like, I need to get saved. Yeah. And that man got saved. Yeah, that was totally cool. And so that was an awesome salvation moment. Yes. It caught me off guard, to be honest with you, because I was just like, I didn't mean to say that at all. But it said that someone got saved. So the Lord works in mysterious ways. And then I would say the highlight of that entire tent was the family night.
Family night was amazing.
Family night was awesome. We had, not sure if you guys, any of you guys are there that you would know, we had the worship just begin to take off. It was. It was just everyone, there was a point where it was very just bare bones, acoustic. Yes. And all you hear are voices. Yeah. Just crying out.
Voices of a lot of men, too.
Yeah, a lot of men, which is a really, honestly, really unheard of thing nowadays. Yeah. And so, you hear, a lot of these male voices just crying out, our God is an awesome, God is an awesome God. What an awesome God he reigns. Just going on, and it's just man.
I remember there going up to the mic, and because, we had kids stuff and then worship in between. And I went up at one moment and I said, how many of you in the tent remember Promise Keepers? And, they would pack arenas with all these men. And there was an element of that because of all the male vocals singing to the Lord. And Frank and Lisa, which lead our team in kids' night, and I get to kind of, I'm kind of observing that night, and the team really does most of the ministry that night. And Frank gave his message, his lesson, and the whole night was so anointed. And I mean, so many people came forward, and that was the moment it really just kept, nobody knew in our team exactly. Isaac would be looking at me, because we had the stage set up on one side and the puppets and all set up on another like we hadn't done before. And it just, you really didn't know what to do because you didn't want to stop. And it just was so amazing. And I don't know how many people came forward for prayer, but, at that one, a lot did. At that one, it was neat because 2 different nights, the one night you preached, another night when I had preached, there was something similar where there were younger families or couples maybe that attend the church regularly. And whether it was a recommitment or a first time, that's really between them and the Lord. But I know the pastor was, encouraged because these are people that have been attending.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you don't know exactly where everybody's at in their walk with the Lord, but it was encouraging because they all stepped in to go deeper in their walk with the Lord. I say all, but I saw a lot that did.
Yeah.
And so, man, we had a great time there. And then from Socher, we left there and we went to Louisiana.
Yeah.
To Elton, Louisiana, to the Coshada Indian Reservation. This was our third year there. And we didn't do a tent meeting, but they have at the Indian Bible Church, they have the pavilion.
Yes.
And so you guys got to perform one of the human videos that was new.
Yeah. Do a brand new human video there for the first time. They were the first to see it.
Yes, and they all loved it.
Yes.
And we always have good food with them and ministry. And then Sunday morning in the sanctuary, and then Sunday night had a kids' night with them. And we just love them. I love being there. We stay at the Coshada Casino has a RV park. We do not go to the casino, just so no rumors get spread. And we stay at a really nice RV resort while we're there, and they give us like the discount of what the Indian nation, what they would be charged, which is really cool. And so then a great services there, and I love the pastor there. We actually a while back we were at a park a few years ago. And there was a guy taking pictures of the kids and stuff out at the playground. And me and Isaac were like, man, what's this guy doing? I was like, who is this creeper taking pictures of the kids? That's how we felt. He didn't look like a creeper. It just was, what is this guy doing with a camera? Well, he ends up being a dad with his own kids there. And we figured that out after watching. And Isaac and Brittany got to talking to this couple and their children. And they ended up coming to a service of ours in Iowa. And we hit it off as friends. And those people were from Wisconsin. They were in Iowa while we were there. And this husband and wife team, we love them. They're great. Their children are great. I almost said their names, but I didn't ask permission to talk about them online, so I won't say their names right now. But and so the wife, she's like, I want to introduce you guys to my childhood pastor. Well, he pastors in Wisconsin. We're going to be there this year doing a tent meeting in Browntown. We go to a tent meeting in Browntown, and he says, I need to introduce you to my brother that pastors at the Coshada Indian tribe. And so these connections are so cool.
Yeah.
And so we always have a great time with them. And then we left the Coshada Indian Reservation, and we head to Texas, and we actually preached in 12 churches while we were there. We went to, I'd said 11, but I meant to say 12. We went to Dayton, Old River, and that's where Frank and Lisa's home church is, and did a Wednesday night, and the presence of God, I preached on prayer, and the presence of God just really touched us to where, again, the lingering at the altar.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the timeline, but myself, I know you were up there, lots of people were up there, the pastor was up there, and just people going after God and seeking his presence. And then the next day, I believe it was the next day, we head to Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
Waco, this was our third time to be in Waco. We haven't done a tent there, but we've done in-house meetings.
Yeah.
And such great people. But actually the first night was a youth night, and something really cool happened on the youth night, that first Friday night.
Yeah, we went there on Friday night. We had a youth night. That's whenever their youth group usually meets up, and I had the honor and the privilege to be able to preach that night with their youth group. And we went there, and we decided, I spoke to the youth pastor, and we were going to bring in the ministry team, Kingdom Pursuit ministry team, the young people that lead worship. So there's some of the people that travel on the team, their kids are musically gifted from the Lord, and so a lot of them are anointed, and we had them lead worship in this service. And when I tell you the Spirit of the Lord fell, there was one point where all of a sudden the instruments just stopped, and all you hear is there's over 20 people in the room, and all you hear is the voices of these young people just saying, if one word is the only thing you speak, then I've heard it all.
Yeah.
You know, if I feel
Yeah.
your heart but never see your hand, I still have it all.
Yeah.
You know, like just going on and on about like nothing of this world can satisfy me. You are my everything, God. I need you. And that desperate
Yeah,
cry
right.
for the Lord. It was just such an on fire moment. And then we moved in quickly to the ministry and to the preaching, and I preached a word there. And by the end of it, we did an altar call. And man, the altars just started to get flooded. People are coming up left
Yeah.
and right. And then we did another altar call for, suicidal ideation, self-harm, anxiety, depression. And then we had a whole bunch of people come forward, get delivered from that. And you could just see people's hearts melting. Like
Right.
there was one young man that I prayed for. This is a moment I'll never forget. He's like a big basketball player type dude, way taller than me. I'm a very short person, right? And so he's like way taller than me, and I just began to pray for this man, and I began to prophesy to him, and then this man just melts in my arms,
that's cool. Yeah.
starts crying on my shoulder, and you just feel the Lord just taking a heart of stone, turning it into a heart of flesh, begin to
Yeah.
break down some of the walls.
Amen.
You see healing in that moment. You see restoration in that
Yes.
moment. And it was just, man, the power of God.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It
It
was.
was as bare bones could get.
Yes. Yes.
But the power of God subsided all that.
Yes. And, just for those that are listening, if you're wondering, like, oh, a youth night, this was really cool because the pastor, I had told him, I said, my son-in-law Malachi, he works with the youth and does youth ministry and preaches under the tent. And so he was like, well, let's have him, I said, yeah. So it worked out that way. But, Amaya goes in there and leads worship.
Yeah.
And my son Caleb, plays the guitar. Amaya plays the guitar, or he'll play bass, whatever.
Hannah helped sing.
And that's right. Hannah was singing. And she's been doing more of that under the tent. It's beautiful. And so our team is doing the worship, and you're doing the preaching, and the youth are seeing God move. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if that's something that's on your radar, look, I mean, even inviting Malachi in as a guest speaker to do revivals or youth nights. I mean, even while we're there doing tent ministry, whatever, it's something that God is really moving on the youth. And so that Friday night, he's with the youth, right? And then Saturday, we have a Saturday night service, and man, the presence of God, it's just so thick.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's just lingering in the presence, the fiery passion. And then Sunday morning, the pastor interviewed me during their Sunday school class, about travels and stuff. And then we go in and we have service, and I'm telling you, that place was packed out.
Oh, yeah.
And the passion and fire, the worship was like, what in the world? I mean, it was crazy awesome. And I preached, and we needed to be out of there by like noon because there was a big dinner.
Yeah.
And I respect that, and that's all good. And we would all been willing to stay longer if, there was a need. It was so cool how God met us because, we wrapped that thing up, and the altars were just like Saturday night and Sunday. I mean, so many people coming up, for prayer. And I don't know how many, I don't remember how many actually there raised their hands for salvation, how many came up. We had a lot of people that come up. I think there was 10, or I don't remember. I got it written down. But anyway, and then
there was 3 in the youth night too.
Okay, so there must have been because I think there was 14 got saved there total. So that's awesome. And then just a prayer time and ministry at the altar. I mean, it was just phenomenal to see. And that was just finishing up the first quarter.
Yeah.
And then we turned and head, back to Indiana. And it's just, God met with us so phenomenally, so powerful in those 12 churches we went to in the first quarter. And to see over 40 people make a decision for Christ. I love that. I wonder what our timeline is like right now if we're 40. Hey, I think we better wrap this one up, hadn't we? We've had a good time sharing about
We have
what
had a
God's
good
doing.
time. I figured we'd let it ride, just let the people know what's going on.
It's so good when you look back at what the Lord is doing. So today, this will be released on the 27th today. It's not actually the 27th right now, but when you see this, and me and Caleb, my son, will actually be in Argentina getting ready to fly back to Indiana when this is released. And so excited about that. And I just want to say this and wrap up that we'd like for you guys to be praying for us because we were going to do 22 states west of the Mississippi. We were planning on going out to California, Colorado, different areas out west. And we wanted to preach the gospel in every state. And we knew the Lord was saying no, right? And so we cleared the calendar and decided, okay, Lord, what is it? We started praying into it, and we felt the Lord strongly say the Wabash Valley. Now, we're preaching in places outside of the Wabash Valley. One tent revival is out of state. The rest of them are all in Indiana. And some services are not in the Wabash Valley region, but a lot of them are, and most of them. And so we feel like the Lord said, really focus on Indiana, and especially we felt like the Lord said He's going to do something amazing and raise up the Wabash Valley region. So be praying with us. If you hear about a tent meeting in the Wabash Valley region or in your area, please come out to the meetings. God is meeting in such a phenomenal way. His presence is so strong. And so we're just continuing to go after God. We don't want to slow down. We don't want to stop. We want to see the lost come into the kingdom of God. We want to see churches revived. We want to come alongside and partner with what God is already doing in communities. And so be praying for us. I want to say thank you to everybody that prays, that supports us financially. You're a blessing to us. You are helping to keep us on the road to take the gospel out. And so we love you guys. You want to give a shout out to everybody in the wrap up?
So thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you liked it, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you share it with a friend. And you know what? As we wrap up, I just want to encourage you, tell someone about Jesus today.
That's it.
Tell someone about Jesus. Just one person.
Yes.
Until then, God bless and have a good day.
Blessings.